Girls, you are a bit depressed and struggle to relate to your friends. You find everyone to be very superficial and fake. You got into philosophy because you read Albert Camus. Most girls are drawn by his looks, but his philosophy really does hit you like a bullet. You identify a lot with Marceau, and you too find it hard to relate to people socially. You also really get into Sylvia Plath at this time. She really understands you. You really relate to the fig tree quote and see yourself living in that same decision paralysis as well. You want to live many lives, and you can't seem to decide which one to let go. You also struggle a lot with your womanhood. You relate to Sylvia Plath's quote about the tragedy of being a woman. You too would like to mingle with road crews, sailors and soldiers and barroom regulars, but all of this is just ruined by the fact that as a woman, you're always in danger. Initially, it makes you hate your condition, but eventually it awakens a fire within you to make the world a better place. You get into more feminist and communist texts at this time. Your understanding of your own being brings about genuine empathy for the world, especially the weak. You get into more leftist and feminist texts and dedicate yourself to helping people. Simone de Beauvoir makes you understand yourself and your womanhood even more. She describes and explains your own existentialism. You start seeing Sylvia Plath and Simone de Beauvoir as your only true friends, the only ones who could truly understand you. You also start reading Marx, and he satisfies that itch for action. You have compassion and empathy and the fire to make the world a better place, but you have no idea what you can do with that. So Marx serves as an anchor for you to do something great with your intelligence. Boys, you are very lonely and somewhat sensitive to the world. This is both good and bad. Things affect you too much, which means you're capable of extreme sadness, but also extreme joy. The existentialists, like Camus, were also your first foray into philosophy. You too found it hard to relate to people, and you wondered if you would really care if your parents died. It was a confronting thought and kept you awake at night. But it wasn't until Nietzsche that you truly got into philosophy. Nietzsche's philosophy confronted everything you knew about life. It upheld the will to power and the strong and the evil, and criticized the good and the weak. I know this is not what he meant, but you more likely than not misinterpreted him. Everyone does. This took you down either of these two paths. You fully accepted Nietzsche's misinterpretation and went down the hypermasculine path. So this means you started going to the gym and started acting more macho. I mean, the Ubermensch has to be physically strong, doesn't he? At this time, you also started reading Julius Evola, Mishima, and Machiavelli, etc. And of course, you misinterpreted them too. But it's not your fault, because most people need to read all of their books at least twice to get the basic gist, and still you will always be wrong. This is a lifelong journey. You will be wrong for most of your life. So you got into more right-wing politics and daydreamed about being in war. The second path you may take is to reject Nietzsche's philosophy completely and get into more depresso, existentialist philosophy like Søren, Kierkegaard and Schopenhauer, and find yourself walking around the city depressed, listening to the Smiths or Radiohead or something. This might also make you get into leftist philosophy. Some people, very few, might unlock the third part and actually understand Nietzsche. This means really understanding him with your blood, not your mind. And at this point, you would be able to reconcile all the other parts within you. You will be able to inherit the machismo of Mishima, and the sensitivity of Kierkegaard, and the pessimism of Schopenhauer, and the life affirmation of Nietzsche.